Welcome to Box Score Studio, where the stats speak, the stories hit harder, and every take comes straight off the playbook. Let's talk sports.
Hey, what is up, Box Score Studio TV fans? Rudy Campos Jr. going to be talking to you about the sports doing things this week here. NFL playoffs. We got some matchups that are set up. We've got CFP football, Indiana, Miami. That's going to be happening Monday. We've got Spurs talk. We don't talk a whole lot of Spurs all the time on this podcast. We talk about pretty much every sport, everything underneath the sports sun, but we're getting some Spurs talk. Jeff Garcia of Locked On Spurs and we did a show for the Sports Answer, which is a part of Answer Now TV. You can catch me there on Sundays. That's Answer Now TV on YouTube. It's called the Sports Answer. Not part of Box Score, but somewhat sort of Box Score. But nonetheless, Jeff and I were talking about some Spurs cheeseman, which we're going to get into tonight as well. We're going to recap that, talking about how, the Spurs did get upended by Oklahoma City. They lost by 119-98, I believe was the final score. They did lose a heartbreaker to Minnesota as well. So it seems like Spurs fans are kind of jumping off, jumping on. We'll see if we can try to talk you off the ledge here on Box Score Studio. We are proudly partners with, as you can see, I don't know, is it this way, right? Yeah, that way. You see the Chunky Flamingo apparel logo up there. Chunky Flamingo is an official partner of Box Score Studio, especially with Grading the Market. Got a little banner for you guys out there so you guys can take a look. You go to chunkyflamingo.com, use the promo code ChunkyCards20 and you get 20% off. That is Chunky Flamingo apparel. Go to chunkyflamingo.com. Use that promo code ChunkyCards20 and you get 20% off of your order. Now, there's a little bit extra in there from what I'm understanding. You start to get a little bit of cards or something a part of it. I don't know. It's from what I've been told. A lot of people that I've ordered lately from Chunky Flamingo are getting certain trading cards of certain guys from Box Score Studio. That's just the beginning. There's going to be more trading cards coming out from Box Score Studio host, and it's going to be a lot more fun. We are partnering with Chunky Flamingo. All you got to do is go to chunkyflamingo.com, ChunkyCards20, and that's 20% off. Also, hey, MCS General Contracting, they've been with us since the beginning. We love them to death. If you need that concrete done, if you need that parking lot redone, hey, your driveway just sucks because the person that did it before didn't do it right, contact the guys, Chris Leha and the boys over at MCS General Contracting, friends, partner, family of Box Score Studio. Matt Gomez is in here saying, yo, what is up, man? Matt does a fantastic job. He does a fantastic job giving you guys up to date on all the soccer doings, especially SAFC. SAFC, the local soccer club here in San Antonio, Texas, plays over at Toyota Field. I'm excited because we are putting in our credentials to cover some SAFC games this year. Hope to see Matt Gomez, everybody out there supporting SAFC. Shout out to Matt Gomez. Thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate you joining us here on Box Score Studio. Again, Box Score Studio TV on YouTube. That way you are not left out. We got the Derek Gordon documentary. We've got Grading the Market. We got a lot more shows coming here. Nonetheless, let's get into it, man. We're going to kick off tonight with the Spurs Cheesemas segment that we did earlier with Jeff Garcia. And we're going to do it Box Score Studio style.
So, I hear about the Spurs this y Spurs that, y como que esto y esta, pero I never hear about the real Spurs cheeseman. Dime, por favor.
All right, so the Spurs cheeseman starts off, obviously, with the loss. 2-game losing streak, Minnesota, heartbreaker, up double digits, and they end up getting the L. Going to OKC, Spurs fans are high and mighty. We are 3-0 against the almighty defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder. And yeah, Thunder. They came to play. Matt Gomez, congratulations. Appreciate it, man. We'll let you guys know for sure if we're able to cover the SAFC games. We got to get the final word on the credentials, but I appreciate that. Sam Salinas, how yeah, good evening, boys. What is up, Sam? Appreciate you joining us here tonight, man. Thank you for all the support, guys. We are at over 2.5 thousand subs on YouTube, looking to hit that 5,000 mark by the end of the year. We should get there with no problem. Appreciate all the subs and all the support. But most recently, the Spurs lose 98 to 119 to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Okay. We're going to take something into fact here. The Spurs have not lost 2 in a row, or I mean more than 2 in a row this year. They've only lost 2. The biggest losing streak they've had is 2 in a row. They're going into a 3-game homestand, starting off with Milwaukee. Now, the way Milwaukee is, no Miles Turner. Giannis is not exactly the happiest guy in Bucks country right now. This feels like it could be a bounce back for the Spurs. I don't see them going on a 3-game skid at all. Do not see that. Yes, it's been a tough stretch. Since the NBA Cup, they've been playing 500 ball. They're 4-4 in their last 8. So again, nothing to write home about. When we mentioned earlier about the schedule being very easy in the beginning, that was a good thing. It was a really good thing. We loved that the schedule was easy. I've seen people on social media say, oh, y'all were talking about the easy schedule. Well, yeah, it's a good thing for a team like this. They started off the season extremely hot, got off to a great start. But it's okay. We're at the 40-game mark, halfway through the season just about. And your Spurs are the 3rd best team in the NBA, not the Western Conference, but they are the 3rd best team in the NBA. The only 2 teams with better records, Oklahoma City and Detroit. They are tied with Denver, but they hold the season series right now over Denver. So they are technically over Denver. They're 3rd. Jeremiah's in here, says hello. What is up, Jeremiah? Appreciate you joining us here tonight. So you see Spurs fans on that edge, on the bridge. Oh my God. De'Aaron Fox isn't showing up. Harrison Barnes, he has cooled off and he hasn't been his normal self lately. But Harrison Barnes, oh my God. Harrison Barnes. Get rid of him. Dylan Harper, oh, he's hitting that rookie wall. Mitch Johnson, terrible coach. That's all you see on social media. I ask you, Spurs fans, what do you want? You want De'Aaron Fox? You want Sacramento King De'Aaron Fox? It ain't happening. He's not walking through that door. You don't need Sacramento King De'Aaron Fox to come into San Antonio to be a great team. De'Aaron Fox got paid a lot of money, but that was expected when he got to San Antonio. We expected them to extend his contract, to give him a nice little deal to stay. He wanted to be here. He wanted to be here. As I mentioned to Jeff Garcia, and I asked Jeff, because Jeff is disappointed in De'Aaron Fox. He did admit on a Locked On episode recently, he admitted to me he's disappointed in De'Aaron Fox. I said, is it fair for me to ask you this? When we've got De'Aaron Fox and you see him struggle now, is it because you feel like he is, like you want Sacramento King De'Aaron Fox and you're not getting it? And he admitted, he says, yeah, I want Sacramento King De'Aaron Fox. We're not going to get 27 point per game De'Aaron Fox. We're not going to get, do all, tell all De'Aaron Fox in San Antonio. Why? You have Victor Wembanyama. He is the centerpiece. He is the foundation that every other player is following and being leaned on. After Vic, a lot of people say Stephon Castle's the next option. So the negativity on De'Aaron Fox, I really, truly don't get. I don't understand that negativity from De'Aaron Fox. But I mean, we still see it online. Trade De'Aaron Fox. Trade so-and-so. Harrison Barnes went from the absolute best thing since sliced bread in San Antonio to, oh my God, he's cold. Okay. We get it. Players, and De'Aaron Fox mentioned it, you're going through a little slump. You're going through a little bit of a hiccup right now. But yet they're still top 3. They are still, 14 games over 500? Nobody could have ever suggested or even thought that a team would get off to this kind of start after the rough seasons they've had. Then you go to coaching. I ask again, and I'm going to ask a million times on this Spurs Cheeseman segment. What do you want out of the coaching staff? It's a rookie coaching staff. Yeah, Mitch started last year. You can't really call Mitch Johnson a rookie coach. But this is his first technical full year. He had an offseason with the team, able to make decisions, had a full training camp with the team. He's led them to the third best record in the league. So why are we questioning what they're doing? Is it not okay for the Spurs teams to lose? Do you not think that Mitch is still trying to get adjusted to head coaching life? No head coach is perfect. Not even Greg Popovich is perfect. Mitch Johnson and his staff is doing the absolute best job they can do. And the record proves it. The little things. Like back-to-back losses is the most that the Spurs have seen. Beats the hell out of seeing a 8-game losing streak that we have been accustomed to. They seem to struggle a little bit and bounce right back. Halfway point through the season, you are looking at a 50-plus Spurs win, a Spurs team here. 50-plus win Spurs team. That's what you're looking at. And if people were to say, I guaranteed that I said they were going to win 50-plus games, I call the biggest BS in the world. Nobody expected 50-plus wins from this team. I pegged them at 44 wins at the beginning of the season. And I felt that was way too high. Way too high. Got some comments in here, Matt. But bro, we are top 5. Why are we complaining? Exactly. You're top 5. It's a top 5 team. Why complain when you're a top 5 team? You're a top 3 team in the league. You are technically still not healthy. A healthy Spurs roster is damn near unbeatable. You saw those few games, 8 games, 9 games of a full healthy Spurs roster? They were very hard to beat. They are missing a key player in Devin Vassell. I go on the apology tour for Devin Vassell. I figured Devin hit the ceiling. He hit a max. Wasn't going to get any better. Coach popped Devin Vassell. He was done. He was at his top. He was at the peak of his game. Coach Mitch Johnson, Devin Vassell, broke through that barrier. He broke through that ceiling, and he's continuing to improve. I like Coach Mitch Johnson, Devin Vassell, because he's become a key point to the Spurs team. What are we missing these last couple of games with Devin out? We're missing that key jump shot, that key basket. It seems like every time the Spurs needed a bucket, Devin was there. He made it. It seemed like every time they needed a defensive stop, Devin was there. You would be like me. You go in thinking, Jesus, Devin's on a roll. He's made like 4 in a row. Couple of threes. You know, he made a jumper, got to the basket. He's playing amazing. He probably has like 30 points. And you look at the box score, and he's like, man, Devin's got 12 points. It feels like more. It feels like more because of his style of play and because what he's giving to the team. The team plays better with him on the court. And I'm going to get you that stat here for the next show, because I truly want to see how good this team is with Devin Vassell on the court. I bet you it is masterful with him on the court. So as the graphic says, why can't we win? Spurs fans, you answer me that. I have 0 complaints. You lose to Minnesota. Okay. You gave up a lead. We used to give up leads back in the Big 3 era. A lot. Nothing new. Before the OKC loss, the biggest loss was, I think, 13, 12. And go back to those losses. They just weren't hitting their jumpers. The shots were not falling. Maybe they had a few defensive lapses. That was it. There wasn't much. But it always comes to, well, De'Aaron only had 15 points and he just doesn't look the same. Or Stephon Castle is just trying to do too much, which I do put that on him a little bit. He's got a lot of turnovers. But it's also, well, Harrison isn't hitting his shot. And, Vic is just playing bad. He's only got 14 points. It's always something. Mitch Johnson and the coaching staff, they just don't know how to monitor minutes. They don't know how to sub in, sub out. They don't know how to do anything. This is terrible. How much longer can we go with Mitch Johnson as our coach? Yet, you're still sitting as the third best team in the league. Not in the West, in the league. Can't complain about that. If you're complaining about that, then you're spoiled. Could be worse. Could be Giannis. Could be Milwaukee. Could be getting booed by your own fans. I don't remember if we were hearing boos in the Frost Bank Center when we were having those 20-win seasons lately. But nonetheless, the Giannis trade rumors started to ramp up a little bit after getting booed in Milwaukee. What do you think, Spurs fans? Do you still want Giannis in a silver and black uniform? Does he make sense? I don't know. I'm going to stick to my guns and say no, thank you. I'm going to pass on it. Giving up a lot more than what I'm getting in return, which, yes, it's an MVP candidate. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo. But I kind of like what I have right now because a healthy Spurs roster is a very, very, very hard Spurs team to beat. Last part of the cheese man, then we got to move on because I'm tired of talking Spurs all the time here, man. Shout out to we got to give a quick shout out here. Shout out to Chunky Flamingo, man. Rock the Mingo, hashtag Rock the Mingo, chunkyflamingo.com. All you got to do is go to their website, type in that promo code, grab 3, 4, 5, 6 shirts, man. They got a ton of apparel. Use promo code ChunkyCards20 to get 20% off of your order from those guys over there at Chunky Flamingo Apparel, and tell them Grading the Market and Box Score Studio sent you. Promo code 20 ChunkyCards20. Get to 20% off over at Chunky Flamingo Apparel. Hashtag Rock the Mingo. That's chunkyflamingo.com. Use promo code ChunkyCards20. Talked about this a little bit here. Coach Pop. Not a lot of people have talked about it. And if they have, I'm sorry. I apologize. But we brought this up on our Spurs Cheeseman show earlier on the Sports Answer. We're bringing it up here right now. We want to be the first to talk about it more in depth here. All-time winningest coach, Gregory Popovich. 1,390 regular season wins. Now, the Spurs have already one unbreakable record, and that's Alvin Robertson's steals record in a season. That's never going to be touched. It's never going to be touched for whatever. Then the other one was the Spurs are probably more than likely, and I think this would probably be the only one that could ever be beat, to be honest with you, is the only franchise to have 2 players to have quadruple doubles in a game. Alvin Robertson, David Robinson. Should have been Tim Duncan as well, but we won't get into that. But lastly, I brought up to Jeff and I said, Coach Pop, do you realize that he probably has one of the most unbreakable records, not just in the NBA, but one of the most unbreakable records in sports? Yes, it does qualify just NBA. But when we talk about sports overall, you've got records in sports that'll never be broken. Nolan Ryan's no hitters. Done. Nolan Ryan's no hitters will never be broken. Strikeouts, no, I don't think so. Cal Ripken's, most consecutive games played, never would be touched. I'm even willing to say that DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak would probably not be touched at all. Then you go into basketball. And yeah, Sam Salinas did say it here. He says almost had 3. That was Tim Duncan. We won't get into that, but yeah, should have been 3. But you go into basketball. I think Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game, that could happen. Today's style of basketball, I can definitely see that happen. But you've got Alvin Robertson's all-time steals record in a season, never would be touched. John Stockton's all-time steals record for a career, never be touched. Assist record by Stockton, that'll never be touched. I mean, throw Greg Popovich's coaching regular season wins. The next closest that is still active is Doc Rivers, and I believe he has 1,180 or something like that. Still needs 200 plus to get there. That's 50 wins in 4 seasons. Let's be real, Doc's not going to get 50 wins in the next 4 seasons, each season. I don't think Doc will last long enough to even get in 4 more seasons to try to get 50 wins. Now, you could say Eric Spoelstra, but Spoelstra was still in the 900s. He still has a good amount to go. Steve Kerr, I believe, is like in the 600, 500 range, so he still has a ways to go. The only coach that Jeff brought up was Mark Daigneault. And I said, good point. The good point. Could. But do you realize you have to have that consecutive streak that Pop had as well? Winning, 50-plus games, making it to the playoffs. It's so difficult to do now because of NBA cap, because of the second apron, because players these days are not committed to staying with current NBA rosters. Eventually, they get a little frustrated and take off, which means that if your best players or one of your best players takes off, you're probably not going to win as many games as you're accustomed to. That's why I feel Pop's all-time coaching record, I think it's sealed. It's never going to be broken. What do you guys think out there? Do you think anybody out there has a chance of breaking Pop's 1,390 regular season wins coaching record? I don't. You're going to have to really convince me. Just like all y'all try to convince me that Wemby is generational, you're going to have to try to convince me that Pop's record can be broken. That's enough NBA talk for right now. We've got to get into some NFL talk, man. Because why? NFL playoffs are happening this weekend. CFP talk, I'll get into all this weekend. We got it till Monday. We'll talk more about CFP. Quick CFP note here. Dante Moore decided to return back to Oregon. He's not going to be a part of the NFL draft, which means you've got a pretty good loaded quarterback class next year in the 2027 draft, pretty much sealing the deal that Fernando Mendoza will be the first overall pick, at least minimum the first quarterback taken in this year's draft. We'll get into more draft coverage as we get into closer to April when the draft is here, so we can get you more on our prospects. We'll do more mock drafts. Got a couple of people on TikTok as well. We'll be going live on TikTok. Be sure to go to Box Score Studio TV on TikTok. Subscribe there. Follow us there. We're going to go live on there for some more draft coverage. So we're going live pretty much everywhere we can. But NFL news, Mike Tomlin, he's decided to walk away from Pittsburgh. You saw John Harbaugh take off, obviously fired. Mike Tomlin gone as well now. Who's their next coach there? I think Shula, the grandson of Don Shula, I think it's Chris Shula. So he's going to go to Miami, I believe. I think that's where we're going to go from here. Pittsburgh is going to look for that guy that has the experience, but isn't a well-known big-time guy. That's the way I feel on this. Tomlin came in, didn't really know about him, didn't really have that head coaching experience. Look what he's done. It seems like Pittsburgh is looking for that guy who's a long-term guy who brings in a fresh type of attitude, fresh type of environment, and that's the way that they're going to go. Coaches out there, there's so many right now that you can look at. I don't think they bring in a Robert Saleh. I don't think they bring in, Dayball. I don't think they come in, and if they do, wouldn't be too bad. But is the Pittsburgh job really appealing to a lot of coaches? You really don't have a quarterback right now in Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is going to end up retiring. DK Metcalf got a little issues there, obviously, with DK, but he's your best receiver. Your running game it's above par with Gainwell and Jalen Warren. The defense is defensing. We'll put it that way. I think there's a lot of gaps and a lot of holes to fill in Pittsburgh. So is it really appealing? I don't know. I don't know if it's the most appealing job out there when you've got teams like Baltimore, when you've got a team like Atlanta looking for a coach, even the New York Giants, the New York Football Giants, that team is very appealing to a coach. And John Harbaugh spent a lot of time there today. So we'll see. I have John Harbaugh going to Tennessee. That's where I've kind of narrowed it down to where I think he might want to go. Tennessee, you got Cam Ward. You got a ton of cap space. I think John Harbaugh would do wonders in Tennessee. So we'll see what happens there. But Tomlin, I don't think he coaches this year. I think he takes an entire year off. Then he weighs his options going in to the following season. So NFL talk. We got NFL playoffs kicking off this weekend. Let's go into each and every game here for you guys. The Texans and Patriots. Again, first off, before I get a lot of hate, because I get a lot of hate on TikTok, yes, these are all AI generated graphics. I know this doesn't look like that guy. That doesn't look like that guy. I'm not as creative as y'all are out there, so I use AI to my advantage, and I just try to create graphics for you guys out there. So I already know, heads up on that. Sorry, TikTokers. I apologize. I'm not that creative. But Texans and Patriots. Texans have the best defense in the league right now. The Patriots have a stud defense. Both teams have great coaching. Both teams have great quarterback play. This is literally a toss-up. This is literally a toss-up. Before the season, I said the Chiefs were going to probably be the AFC representatives in the Super Bowl. Of course, I was wrong on that. But I also said the Texans have the opportunity to upend the Chiefs. For me, it would have either been the Chiefs or the Texans. Patriots, we felt like the Patriots were going to be this good, but we just didn't know they were going to be this damn good. Nonetheless, Drake May is playing at MVP caliber and MVP level. I have him as MVP 1B, not 1A. I've had him 1A for a while, but I think I got to move him down to 1B. Nonetheless, I'm going to take the Texans this weekend to beat the Patriots. I think their defense is playing superb. It's playing fantastic, magnificent. Give me the Texans to beat the Patriots on the road this weekend. Bills and Broncos. This is one of those where I lean a lot towards the Broncos. Sean Payton, Bo Nix is playing, amazing. And if you guys remember, during our NFL draft show for the year Nix was drafted, I had Bo Nix as, my number 2 guy. He's proven it. Coach Gio out there saying, Bo Nix is 40 years old. Well, okay, so he's 40 years old coming out of college. Who cares? He used it to his advantage. He got a lot of experience. He comes into the NFL. He's one of the better young quarterbacks in the league. That Broncos defense, man, stifling. It's good. It's good. But Josh Allen on the other side. Perennial MVP, year to year, Josh Allen. Does he have enough in the tank to get it done against Denver? That's the question right here. In a year with no Mahomes, in a year where Josh Allen doesn't have to worry about the likes of Joe Burrow and that receiving core, it feels like this is Josh Allen's time to shine in the AFC and get to a Super Bowl. Does the inexperience of Denver really weigh that much? I have to say I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills this weekend and Josh Allen. I think it's close. I think it's a very close game. It's a back and forth type game. There's been games where Josh Allen and the Bills have looked completely dismantled. And yet at the end of the game, they're there on the 5-yard line. Josh Allen taking it to the house. Touchdown, Bills win. It always seems to play out that way. Where we have Mahomes magic, we have amazing Allen. And that's what I think he's going to do this weekend. He's going to put this Bills team on his back, and he's going to guide them to an AFC Championship conference game. Give me Buffalo over the Broncos. NFC, Niners and Seahawks. Whew. Everything points Seattle. Big time defense. Sam Darnold just rejuvenated, whatever. The offense clicks, the running game clicks. Seattle has been playing some, if not the best football in the league the last part of the season. And then you look at San Francisco, decimated by injuries, horribly decimated by injuries. They were held to 3 points the last time they played Seattle. I think it was 176 total yards. I don't think Seattle does that again. San Francisco is going to definitely put up more points. They're going to definitely put up more yardage. But with all those injuries, all those key players, I still got Seattle in this one. All week I've been taking San Francisco. I've been back and forth with it. So San Francisco's my team to take this week. I think they're going to bounce back now. I think it's Seattle. Seattle's going to beat San Francisco to move on to the NFC Championship game. Then you got the Rams, you got the Bears. Preseason, before the season started, training camp. We did an NFL training camp show. We did an NFL preview show. My Super Bowl pick was the Rams. I had the Rams win the Super Bowl. I'm not going to change my mind on that. It's going to be blistering cold out there. I understand it is going to be blistering. But we see Caleb make some bonehead mistakes, especially last week against the Packers. Some of those passes were just, what are you doing? But you also see Caleb do great things for the Bears. I always question, is it more Caleb? Is it more Ben Johnson? Is it more Ben Johnson putting Caleb in better situations? Is Caleb making the right decision on his own when plays collapse? Outside of the pocket is very dangerous for Caleb. He's a very dangerous player. As great of a run as the Bears have had this year, props to them. Salute to them. I did not have the Bears as one of the better teams in the league. In fact, I had them third in that division. I did, and I'll plainly admit it. I did have them third. They are doing a fantastic job. Ben Johnson got that train on the right track quick. But the train stops here. Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua. The Rams' vulnerable defense. Yes, it's vulnerable. I think we're going to a high-scoring game here. When I say high-scoring, I think it's upper 20s, low 30s. Similar to, the coldest days in San Antonio. But I got the Rams winning. Caleb and the Bears go off into the offseason proud of what they've accomplished. Ben Johnson gets everything right, ready for next season. But the Rams do move on to play Seattle. Those are my picks for the week of this coming NFL playoffs. So we've got Texans, Bills on the AFC side. We've got Seahawks and Rams, which is going to be, if that happens, that's going to be a monster NFC championship game. Monster NFC championship game. Jace Fawcett, sup? What's up, man? How you doing? Appreciate you joining us here on Box Score Studio TV. Those are the matchups that we've got. We're going to get into more CFP talk this weekend. Again, that championship game is on Monday. NFL playoffs are going to end this weekend. We'll have our NFC, AFC championship game set by this weekend. We're going to go live again this weekend to go over those games, get you ready for the championship games, AFC and NFC. Also get you ready for the CFP game. Hopefully by then, Spurs are kind of, righting the wrongs here. So these Spurs fans don't get too crazy out there. Appreciate all the support as well. And again, you got to rock the Mingo, #rock the Mingo. Go to chunkyflamingo.com. Buy all the shirts. They're amazing. I love them. A lot of our listeners have already been buying them left and right. And you know what they do? They use that promo code ChunkyCards20 to get 20% off their order. Well worth it. Locally owned. It's a great, great company. That's Chunky Flamingo Apparel. Partners with us here at Box Score Studio and partners with the main show out there, Grading the Market. Got to check them out every weekend as well. Again, appreciate you guys, everybody, for joining us here tonight. We're going to come back to you live this weekend to go over some of those NFL games. Once they are completed, we'll get you ready for the CFP. We're going to get you ready for all the sports takes and everything. Again, we're coming to you once a week right now here at Box Score Studio TV. Be sure to go to Box Score Studio TV on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. We got the Derek Gervin story. That documentary has gone bananas. It's gone bonkers. It's myself. It's interviewing Derek Gervin. You can take a look at his story. He's got a great backstory. You know, getting to the NBA, falling out of the NBA, going overseas, and making a huge name for himself over in Israel. It's a fantastic story. You got to check it out. The Derek Gervin story, you can only find it on Box Score Studio TV on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button right now. So for everybody a part of Box Score Studio, for the guys over at Grading the Market, MCS General Contracting, Chunky Flamingo, promo code ChunkyCards20. Go to the website. You can get 20% off. I'm Rudy Campos Jr. Hey, guys, you got all those questions? You got all those concerns? Drop them in the Box Score Studio comments. When we're live, drop those comments, drop those questions. Maybe we'll select you and we'll send you something from Chunky Flamingo, or who knows, could be one of our other sponsors you can get a gift card from. Appreciate all the love, guys. See you guys later.
This is Box Score Studio. Breaking it down, calling it real, and keeping you one step ahead of the game. Catch you on the next one.